Presently, there is a Chinese course going on. Chinese speakers from over 10 countries. 600 or 700 of them are listening and benefiting. The teachings can spread much further and wider than previously. In the old days, when we wanted to learn the Dharma, we had to find it for ourselves, not listen live from another country. Even within our own country, it wasn't easy to find the Dharma. In the past, I would learn from masters in the northeast and north of Thailand. I would take the train or a coach out of province. Sometimes, I would have to transfer buses in the city centre to enter the village where the temple was. Sometimes, I would arrive too late for the last bus into the village and would have to walk. There weren't devices to help in obtaining Dharma teachings. In those days, even using cassettes to record wasn't a thing. The teachers often didn't approve of recording. The masters wanted us to listen and understand right then, but sometimes we didn't understand what he would say, and we'd have to remember it ourselves. But the really good teachings that are transmitted to the student penetrate the heart. I can remember many such teachings even decades later. They are not forgotten, especially the teachers that we learned with our heart and soul from. In my case, Luang Pu Dun. I remember his words as if I've recorded them. So, for us, if we are truly dedicated and interested in the teachings, we can open YouTube or Facebook. There are ample media sources. We feel like we can listen whenever we want. I'm lazy to listen now. I'll listen to something else first. If we can listen whenever we feel like it, we might have the feeling that we can then practice whenever we feel like it. When we're listening to a master, we need to practice as we're listening, right then and there. We practice Dharma, we meditate, and the master will teach us right then and there. Some teachers just see our faces and will teach us. But some masters are quiet. They barely say anything, just a phrase once in a while. Some teachers see our face and lunge at us with teachings, even though they don't know who we are. The old masters were very impressive indeed. I wouldn't approach them with any pride or arrogance in the heart. I would surrender with complete humility. They know, we don't. We have to learn the correct attitude or approach to receive such beautiful teachings. If our mind is ready or appropriate for particular teachings, then the master will provide those teachings for you. The masters don't come with a script. They don't have a plan or scriptures memorized to teach that day. We just bring our hearts and minds for him to see. If our mind is too harsh for us to learn, then the master will be indifferent. If we are not in a position mentally to learn, then the master won't teach us anything. But if we have enough humility and focus on the Dharma, Then the master will teach us, like with Luang Pu Dun. He was amazing. I've never met a teacher like him ever before. When I would go and pay respects to him and tell him I wanted to learn Dharma, he didn't teach at first. He just sat in meditation for almost an hour. For some people, over an hour he would sit, and then he would open his eyes and teach. He would teach just a couple of sentences, and that would be all. We would go and practice what he said. Some phrases he taught me took over 20 years to understand fully. Over 20 years or 21 years until I truly understood what he said. One teaching many of his students would hear is, "The mind is Buddha." I heard him teach this many times at length. Every word he said, he would speak the truth. He would say the same thing over and over again, and each time with exactly the same words. The teachings of the mind is the Buddha were in a book by Huangbo. Luang Pu Du read and considered this teaching to be true regarding the final stage of Dharma practice. What the mind of an enlightened one is like. Huangbo taught this, and Luang Pu Dun contemplated it and considered it to be a unique and accurate explanation. So, he borrowed these words, "The mind is Buddha." The first time I heard him talk about it, I felt like I understood. I thought it meant the knower mind is Buddha. But then after a long time of practice, my understanding changed. If you want to know about the mind is Buddha, then you can read about. And you'll think you understand, but you don't really understand. Because you haven't seen this actual Buddha state. You have to practice until there is a release from the mind and body and all the elements. Then you'll see that the entire world is empty. You'll see that physical things and the body are empty. The body, the world, is empty. The mind is empty, just the same. There are traces of these teachings in the Buddhist scriptures. There was one person named Mokkaraja that asked the Buddha a question. He was a very intelligent man. He was a student of the Brahmin Bavari, who in turn was originally the spiritual advisor of the king Pasenadi of Kosala. When he was older, he left his duties with the kingdom and opened a spiritual center out in nature. He had 16 top students. Once the news broke that there was the Buddha that enlightened, the Brahmin Bavari prepared 16 questions for the Buddha, one for each of his students to ask. So, they set out to meet this ascetic, Gautama, the Buddha. Each of the students asked their question, and upon their answers would become enlightened ones, successively. Until the last student, who was the nephew of the Brahmin Bavari. He didn't enlighten. He was more concerned with bringing the answers to his uncle. When he did return and provided the answers to his uncle, Brahmin Bavari enlightened to the level of non-returner, not fully enlightened. Out of these 16 questions, the most senior student got to ask the first. His name was Ajita. The second in line was Maharaja. But when he would try to ask, the Buddha said, "Not yet. Let's let the others ask their questions." And each time he would try to interject and ask his question, the Buddha said, "Not yet." He ended up being 15th to ask his question. And why was that? It's because his mind was too busy. He was thinking too much. The mind was looking for answers, wanting responses. There was too much wanting in the mind. So the Buddha wouldn't let him ask yet. I use this method too, quite often. Sometimes I'll say, "Don't ask anything. Just listen first. And when it is appropriate and the mind is ready, then you can ask." So, Maharaja asked the Buddha, "How should one view the world so as to escape from the eyes of the Lord of Death?" Just listening to this question, we're all confused here. The Brahmin Bavari is quite exceptional, isn't he? He formulated such amazing questions that when his students asked the Buddha these questions and they got their answers, they became fully enlightened. Amazing. But Bavari was too old and couldn't make it to the Buddha himself. So he sent his students on his behalf. How does one view the world as to escape the vision of the Lord of Death? The Buddha answered, "We see the world as empty, and the Lord of Death will not see us. Death will not see the state that is beyond birth, aging, illness, and death. In short, it is the enlightened one that death does not see." And how is that an enlightened one views the world? He sees it as empty. He sees. He doesn't think about the world being empty. He doesn't attend to the mind in any way to believe that it is empty. He doesn't focus in any way to intend to see the world as empty. The enlightened one just sees the emptiness of the world. How is it that we can see the world as empty? We practice insight, that's how. We learn about physical and mental phenomena. Mindfulness recognizes physical phenomena as they are with an upright mind, and wisdom arises, and sees physicality as impermanent, as suffering, and as non-self. And mindfulness knows mental phenomena as they are with an upright mind. Mental phenomena will be seen as impermanent, suffering, and non-self. What is it we call the world? It is matter and mind, not just the outside world. What we call the world is mental and physical phenomena. When we see physicality and mentality as falling under the three characteristics, the mind will sacrifice or return mentality or physicality back to the world. It is the end of attachment. With no more attachment, the world is seen as empty. In writing, scholars try to decipher empty in which way. When they say empty of a person, of a him, her, or being, are they correct? Yes, they are. But that's not the entire heart of the matter. It is enticing to see what is meant by empty in order to see the world. The body and mind as empty. To do this, our minds must have morality, concentration, and wisdom all in complete fruition. It is impossible to see body and mind as empty without wisdom. because all we see is they exist, or they don't exist. If we see existence or non-existing, that's still seeing pairs having and not having. But true emptiness isn't part of a pair, part of duality. When speaking of emptiness or non-duality, some people get completely intoxicated by the idea. In this era in Thailand, in this dynasty, there have been some monks that were truly exceptional scholars. One is Phut Tholthad, and the other is Ajahn Prayutho. Ajahn Prayutho has an illustrious title. I can't remember what it is. These are the two leaders in scholarly knowledge and understanding. Ajahn Phut Tholthad talked a lot about emptiness. Those that would listen or read his teachings without full comprehension would try to place their minds in emptiness or think about emptiness, trying to see everything as empty. As long as the mind is still at work or being used to think about emptiness, to observe emptiness, or mentality and physicality as emptiness, in these cases the mind is still doing. It's not empty, and thus the world is not empty. So contemplating emptiness has no benefit at all. So, if we read Huangbo Huineng book on Zen, is it a good book? Yes, it's a very good book, but if reading it we become intoxicated by teachings on emptiness, this is empty and that is empty, that type of empty isn't real emptiness. It's an emptiness that arises out of contemplating it, believing it's true and then focusing on it, formulating it, subtly contriving it. If you want to see the real truth of the world being empty, of mentality and physicality being empty, you'll have to develop insight. You'll have to see the truth of the body and see the truth of the mind. Seeing and practicing, you will see that the body is under the dominion of the three characteristics. It is impermanent, suffering, and not a self, and likewise, the mind is under the dominion of the three characteristics. It is impermanent, suffering, and not a self. When that is seen, there is release. One must see the truth as it really is first, and then there is release. If there is release, then there is emptiness. If there is no release, there is no emptiness. So, if you're trying to arrive at emptiness prior to the release, you won't find the real thing, because focusing on, or moving the mind into a state of emptiness, there is attachment there. There's attachment to wanting this mind to be free from suffering, or wanting this mind to be in a good place. So, seeing true emptiness isn't arrived at by contemplating and thinking. Contemplating and thinking about it, we just become intoxicated by it. Oh, everything's empty. This and that's empty. But there's one thing that's not empty. It's that self. Some people were teaching their students, bring the mind into emptiness and try not to think, not to fabricate. But by just bringing the mind to something, renders it not empty. Intending to not think, formulate, or fabricate. That's already fabricating something. Fabricating emptiness is called imperturbable formations. It is fabricating, creating a state. So, let's not try to make emptiness happen. Let's just see the truth of physical and mental phenomena. And when we see physical phenomena are under the three characteristics, then there will be an end to clinging and attachment to physicality. When the truth of the three characteristics is seen regarding mentality, there will be no more attachment or clinging to the mind. It won't matter if the mind is good, bad, happy, or sad. If the mind is knowing or the mind is lost, whether it is in the process of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling at the body, or thinking at the mind, all these states are the same. They are all subject to the three characteristics. When this is seen clearly, release can occur. If wisdom is truly powerful, there will be release of the body and the mind, of mentality and physicality. The world, mentality and physicality, both inside us and outside. It's all the same. The physical body and physical matter of the world is all the same thing. All feelings and thoughts just belong to the world. The 5 aggregates belong to the world. We'll see the aggregates are merely physical and mental processes. Keep practicing and see that the whole world is just a phenomenon passing by. It has no point of origin. It has no end. This is the phenomenon of the world. It's just moving and passing by without a beginning or an end. Arising and falling, spinning in flux with no end. That is round of rebirth, the cycle of birth and death. We'll see the world is just a phenomenon that is moving and passing, like a dream. Just a dream. If we see the truth in this way, we don't have to be in pursuit of what the fundamental state of what the mind or consciousness is. Whenever there is seeking or searching, there is not emptiness. When the truth of physicality and mentality are finally seen with crystal clarity, and complete release of them occurs, Nibbana need not be sought or pursued any longer. The world is formation and fabrication. Nibbana is the state beyond formation and fabrication. It is freed from fabrication, and nothing fabricates it. That is the truth of emptiness. The world is empty in a way. And the mind that has released from the world is empty in another way. They are different emptinesses. The world still has stuff. Things arise out of causes, and when those causes are absent, then the effect disappears. There's no control. The world is empty in the sense that there's no us, them, or individuals. There are just moving and passing phenomena ad infinitum. Now the mind that has released from the world is empty in a different way. It is released from all fabrication, all formation, once and for all. There isn't any need to identify what exists, what doesn't exist. In the book that Luang Pu Dun called The Mind is Buddha, there is a passage that says, "The mind isn't the mind, but the mind also isn't not the mind." Sounds like a tongue twister. It sounds exciting, something you want to listen to. Luang Pu Dun said this to me in person as well. The mind isn't the mind, but the mind also isn't not the mind. So, is the mind, or isn't it? Well, that's just how the mind that is completely released, liberated from all formations is. That's how it feels. If we read The Mind is Buddha, Luang Pu Dun talks about something called the One Mind. Phut Tartad explains it as the original mind, and these terms coincide with what the 2 famous Zen writers, Huangbo, who in Eng called these states, Luang Pu Tais called it heart, the former Supreme Patriarch of Thailand called it the consciousness element, Luang Tama Habwa called it the Dharma element, Luang Pu Buddha called it the One Heart. There are many ways to say it. We're just using conventions to point to or speak of this same phenomenon. The phenomenon of the mind that has completely and utterly liberated from suffering. Here, the entire world and all physicality and mentality are empty, irrespective of the fact that they are still moving and fabricating. It is all empty because there is no attachment to them. It's a different kind of emptiness. So, we must practice with full dedication. Take the plunge, take the risk, flirt with death. Nibbana is on the side of death. That's what the masters say. And it is the truth. It is no joke. If we're still in love with ourselves and afraid of death, then we shall not release from this world. Some of the masters that practiced by observing the body first before their enlightenment would say that the body is under such oppression by suffering it. as if a mountain has crushed them and stirred them to bits. The masters that have walked the path of primarily, by seeing the mind, they see the mind as suffering itself, not just oppressed by, but actual suffering proper, as if a mountain has landed on the mind, and not just crushed it, but stirred it up as well. Have you ever seen the truck that grinds cement? That's what we're talking about. Whether it be the experience of the body or the mind itself, it is utterly the full intensity of suffering. If the mind is too weak and afraid of death, then the mind will withdraw out of the experience and won't develop further. If we welcome death in this experience, round of rebirth and birth and death will shatter and collapse in front of our eyes. The round of rebirth outside the world will be seen as merely phenomena that pass by endlessly according to causes and conditions. This consciousness element is empty. It's empty because there are no formations, creations, or fabrications. On the other hand, mentality and physicality are empty because they are not clung to or attached to, nor are they of any importance. So, when we hear this concept of emptiness, don't go being empty. Instead, try to know and see the body and mind as they really are. One day, you'll see that the body is subject to the three characteristics, the mind is subject to the three characters. You'll see that which is impermanent is suffering, and that which is suffering is unworthy of attachment to. So, the mind releases attachment and becomes free, liberated. So, don't go digging for emptiness. Don't try to pursue it. The more you seek it, the less you'll find it. Study this body and study this mind, and see their three characteristics until the day round of rebirth collapses. That will be emptiness. The body and mind are the world. Empty in the sense of not a him, a her, a me, a you or a them. Just phenomena that arise and fall and spin around in constant flux according to their own causes and conditions. When there is a rising, there will certainly be falling. The world is comprised of things that arise and fall away. Now, true Dharma, the Dharma element, doesn't arise or fall. It is an element that they call the immortal element. And we will know the end of suffering is right then and there. Completely free of all formation, fabrication and creation once and for all. We might hear a monk at a cremation ceremony exclaim, Anijavata Sankara, Upada Vaya Domino, Upajitava Naruj Jonti, Te Sum Vupa Samo Sukko. All formations are impermanent. They arise and they fall away. All formations once put to rest is true happiness. Formations here means all creating and fabricating. When all formations cease, Nibbana is right then and there. There is no need to seek or pursue Nibbana. The more you look for it and have craving to find Nibbana or achieve Nibbana, the more actions, movement, wavering, and shiftiness in the mind there will be. Thus, there will be more becoming and creating realms and lifetimes and suffering. Nibbana gets farther and further away. Once I was practicing back when I was a lay person. Luang Pu Tais was still alive, but Luang Pu Dun had passed away at that time. I was practicing and I thought about Luang Pu Dun and how he said, "Don't send the mind out." Luang Pu Sim said, "Don't send the mind in." Luang Pu Tais said, "One who achieves a mind in the middle will be free from all sufferings." So, Learning with Luang Pu Dun, he said, don't send the mind out. Sending the mind out is a mind that travels out and becomes lost in sense objects through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The mind does this through the force of craving. At first, when I heard Luang Pu Dun say, don't send the mind out, I instead sent my mind inside. I would practice and see defilements arise from the center of the chest. They would come up, I would see them, and they would disappear. Then I got curious. Where are these defilements originating from? So then, when the defilement would arise and come up, I would just observe it very lightly. If I observed it more acutely, it would disappear immediately. So, instead I would just observe it very subtly, and it would start to move downward, deeper and deeper down, and I'd have my mindfulness follow it down, because I wanted to know where the origin of these things was. I figured maybe, if I found the point of origin, I could destroy the defilements completely, and then maybe, finally, there wouldn't be any more defilements to battle. So, I'd go deep in and follow it down until the defilement would disappear, and it would just be empty or a void down there. I couldn't find where it originated from. So, what did I do? I brought my mind up from the emptiness and let my mind contact the world again through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, and then another defilement would come up. Then I would have my mindfulness just touch it and follow it down again as it got chased away, and then it was empty down there again. So, I would follow the defilements down like this for a while. Then I had the opportunity to see Luang Pu Sim. He was a great master, an expert at seeing the minds of others. He had the divine eye and the divine ear, or clairaudience. His powers were uncanny. I went up to Wat Tham Pho Plong to pay my respects to him. I was still in the process of following the defilements down inside. As soon as he saw my face, he just said, I didn't even have to ask, "Hey Noah." Noah, that's what he called me. Get out of there. That's not where the defilements are. The defilements are out here. He knew I was looking for the defilements deep down inside. He said, the defilements aren't in there. Come on out. After hearing him say that, I was confused. Luang Pu Dun would say, don't send the mind out. And Luang Pu Sim said, don't go inside. So I figured somewhere in the middle is correct, because Luang Pu Thade once said, those that reach a mind in the middle are free from all types of suffering. A mind in the middle just means a mind that isn't pleased or displeased. But I tried a different version, a different approach. Because the mind and its object is a pair. Sometimes the mind is attached to an object, and then sometimes the mind is attached to the mind itself. So, I tried to not attach to the object and not attach to the mind. So, I tried something. I brought my attention to the meditation object, and the mind would move out to it, and as soon as it hit the object, it would then move and stream back towards the knowing mind. When it arrived at the knowing mind, I wouldn't hold it, and so it would stream back down towards the meditation object. The mind would move back and forth between these two places until then, finally, it dropped down in the middle. It didn't hold to the meditation object or the mind. It dropped down in the middle and was totally empty. There was no thinking and no fabrication. There was no time. I didn't know how long these periods were. There were no thoughts. There were no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body. All that was left was the mind, only mind, being there, in that spot. When I would withdraw out of it, I would think, I guess that's Nibbana. Nibbana has no attachment to the mind or to the objects. It has no attachment to form or mind. It has no attachment at all. So, I would bring my mind to that empty place. There'd be no thoughts or fabrications whatsoever. So, I would play with this state. One day I realized, playing in this way by coming in and coming out of this state, there was an intention there to do it. It wasn't insight. It was an activity of the mind, an activity of someone who is good at concentration and meditation practices, shifting the mind hither and thither at will. That's calmness. So, I went back to Luang Pu Thade. What I was doing, I'm not holding at the knower mind. I'm not holding at the meditation object. The mind entered emptiness. I'm starting to be skeptical about it, thinking it's a communist practice. And Luang Pu Tate agreed, yep, it's just a meditative practice. Luang Pu Tate was amazing, he answered immediately, but he said, you know what, keep practicing it, become an expert. These days people with great meditative skills are extremely rare. They don't exist, so become an expert at it. But then I told him, I'm afraid I'll get stuck in it. He said, don't worry, if you do get stuck in it, I'll get you out of it. That's what he told me. So I kept playing with that state. I would play, even though I knew it was calmness. Because a great master wanted me to practice and get familiar with it. A calmness where there isn't an attachment to the mind or meditation object. The mind isn't attached to anything at all. It actually is a formless state, no attachment. Anyway, I kept doing this practice, and one day I met Luang Pu Bunjin. I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard his name. He had a monk call me in. He asked me, so, tell me about your practice. I told him, I'm not attaching to the knower, and I'm not attaching to what the knower knows. It's empty, very empty, completely empty. Then he exclaimed, hey, what kind of nibbana has an entrance and an exit? And then he asked me, so, how are you going to practice now? But when I heard him, I misunderstood and thought that he didn't understand my accent, because his was pretty thick. He was from the northeast of Thailand and staying in the north. Like Longpo Ponya, he was from the south, but staying in the north, so our accents were a bit different. So, I told him again what I was practicing. He exclaimed once again, hey, what kind of nibbana has an entrance and an exit? In that moment, my mind threw away that meditation. I didn't want it anymore. If I kept doing it, I was just a waste of time. The mind tossed it. Now, there was still a trace of it, and I knew how to achieve that state of calmness, but I was done with it. It was a waste of time. I became skilled in the state, as Luang Pu Tate told me to do. But I believed Luang Pu Bunjin. Doing things like this makes things progress too slowly. They're a waste of time. Even the slightest trace of intending is incorrect. Because the true nibbana has no entrance or exit. It is a state that is whole in itself. And we'll experience it automatically. When the mind has released from all formation and fabrication. Our mind will be free of formations once there is a cessation of craving, cessation of wanting. Formations is becoming. Becoming has roots in desire, and it is desire that creates becoming. The root of desire is ignorance. Not knowing the truth regarding the world, matter and mind. Ignorance is not knowing the truth of all physical and mental phenomena. So, let's learn within this body and mind of ours, and see physical and mental workings. There is no need to try and bring your mind towards any empty state. That's just a communist state. There's no need to talk about emptiness, because we don't know it. We don't understand it. This emptiness is right in front of our eyes. One old master named Luang Pu Gim was an excellent teacher who was a student of Luang Pu Dun. His name was Gim. His name comes from Surin province. It isn't a Chinese name. He's from Surin province. Once I was with him, and he pointed to the floor tiles out in front of his hut. And he said, "Can you see that they're empty?" At that time, I brought my attention to the emptiness of them. And I said, yeah, they're empty. I thought bringing my attention to the empty state meant we would see the emptiness in the thing the master was talking about. But actually, it wasn't the emptiness that he meant. Because what I was doing had intention in it, I made it up. Real emptiness has no intending to sense emptiness. It has no contemplating emptiness. Instead, see the truth of matter and see the truth of mind. Once the attachment to form and matter has ceased, then emptiness will be experienced automatically. You'll see the world moving and changing ceaselessly, as physical phenomena and mental phenomena. If there is a cause, then they arise. If the cause is gone, then they disappear. There is no controlling any of this. Things slide and move by ceaselessly. There is no point of origin, and there is no end. The Buddha said that round of rebirth has no beginning and no end. That's what we'll see. Things still exist, but they are empty. Emptiness doesn't mean nothing exists at all. It's not bringing the mind to see there truly isn't anything. That is an absorption state, a formless meditative state. That happens when one brings the mind to be with nothingness. The path of the Buddha is the practice of insight. To see the body and its three characteristics and then let go of the body. Seeing the mind, seeing the three characteristics of the mind and releasing it. Releasing the physical form and releasing the mind is releasing the whole world, because the things we call the world are form and matter. Then we will see the world changing, arising and falling, in accordance with their conditions and causes. There's no beginning, no middle, no end. That's what we will see. Now, regarding the Dharma element, that is something else. It is empty because it is beyond any formation. That is the emptiness of Nibbana. So, that's the mind that Luang Pu Dun said, isn't the mind, and isn't not the mind. Because we can't say if it's the mind or not the mind. It's beyond what words can express. It is an element of sorts. If we call it the mind, then we can say the mind is what experiences Nibbana, or what experiences Dharma. And it is the mind that is Dharma itself. It is Dharma that is experiencing Dharma, and there is nothing else. So, I think that's enough teachings for today. Shall we say, keep practicing. Keep this recording in 10, 20, 30 years in the future, maybe you'll see. If you don't see it in this life, then you'll see it in another life. If you keep practicing, one day you'll arrive. Let me just tell you before we stop that tomorrow, there is an election. So, don't just be temple dwellers who don't go and vote. You are lay people, so you have a duty to go and vote. I'm not concerned about us here. We're not greedy. We have mindfulness and wisdom, and we don't take the bait that they use to deceive the population. There are two types of bait. One is giving out 1,000 baht per vote. The other type of bait is about the ego. If you elect me, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. If they actually give what they say they're giving, then the country would collapse. They can't do what they say, so go and vote for who you would like to, but don't take their bait. Use your mindfulness and wisdom. The future of the country is nothing to laugh about. The country cannot survive, and neither can religion. There isn't anywhere in this world that can be a keeper or holder of Buddhism. In the era of Kun Ashoka of India, he tried to propagate Buddhism in other countries. He sent monks out to Suvarnabhumi and sent monks elsewhere, too many places. He tried to plant Bodhi seeds all around, just in case the original Bodhi tree died, it would still have children. Eventually the mother Bodhi tree did die, meaning that Dharma disappeared from India. It remained in nearby countries, and then started to disappear in those too, like in the Gondara area. Buddhism is completely erased. There are no Buddhists there. What's left is this Suvarnabhumi area. If this country is not a peaceful one and is filled with chaos, our religion won't be able to survive that. When the politics are poor, religion falters easily. In the past, this has happened. The leaders prohibited people from ordaining as monks. So, the monkhood completely disappeared. They wanted laborers, they wanted soldiers. Here and now, there are still monks. But there aren't that many. So, let's not imagine. The Buddhist religion in our country is something stable and secure. True, genuine monks are a minority. Not many are left. In the news, we regularly hear of monks doing unscrupulous things. Naive people think those monks were enlightened ones, or great monks. Certainly, wishful thinking. I just take one look at these monks and want nothing to do with them. I turn away from them. If they're on my left, I look to my right. When we like to guess that this or that monk is enlightened. Once we see them get defeated by their defilements, we conclude that Buddhism is bad. That's not the case at all. It's a totally different story. The bad monks were just regular bad people that got defeated by the defilements. That's quite a normal and natural phenomenon in this world. It's not easy to defeat the defilements. I've already mentioned that Nibbana is on the side of death. That's enough teaching for today. Oh, I forgot about reviewing your homework. I can see those of you ready to submit. I see your faces on the screen as emptiness. So, I was ready to go. Number 1.
Number 1. I practice by having mindfulness of the 4 physical postures. I've been doing it for quite a few months. More recently, I've found my mind wandering off a lot because I've been so tired from work. For the last month or so, I seem to be always lost in my thoughts. How should I practice from here?
Keep considering your body. Just consider it. Don't focus on it. You still have over-focusing in your meditation. Don't over-focus. Just feel. Just sense. The body moves and become aware of it with a regular mind. Don't make your mind stiff and then be aware. That's wrong. That's like a chameleon. Just be aware. The body can't hide from us. So, if you're not able to practice anything else, then just be aware of the body. Can you see that the body is sitting? Can you see that the body is moving? Just continue to be aware again and again. Don't worry about if your mind is peaceful or not peaceful. Just be aware of the body regularly. Your mind will begin to gain strength and momentum, and then it will be able to separate the aggregates. The body will be sensed as one thing, while the body is another. The separation will happen. No need to struggle with this. If you're tired and don't have any energy, then just know that you don't have any energy. If you want more energy, know there is wanting, and keep watching the body. Can you sense the body is breathing? Are you aware of that? Don't think about peace. The body is breathing out. No so. The body is breathing in. No so. And you'll gain energy. When I used to practice in the past, sometimes the mind would get exhausted. When it was tired, I would watch the in and out breath. And then after a bit the mind would gain strength. Eventually, I had an even better tactic. When the mind is tired, know it's tired. When there's wanting to have energy, I would know there was wanting, and the wanting would disappear, and the energy would appear immediately. So, come to know within the mind, and the mind will have samadhi arise automatically. Just recognizing that liking or disliking has arisen in the mind when it has. The mind will gain strength automatically. Number 6. You can see that, right? That's good that you can see that. Samadhi isn't a difficult thing to achieve once we can do that. If the mind is restless, then we know that it is restless. If we don't like that it's restless, then we know we don't like. And immediately, the mind becomes upright. When there is no more liking and disliking in the mind, then the mind is easily upright with lots of strength. But if the mind is tired, no big deal. Just be aware of the body. If you want to have energy, then know that you do. That's all you need to do. Number 2. You are practicing well.
Number 2. I practice by listening to your talks on YouTube, and I try to study my own mind in daily life. I've started to be able to see that the body and the mind are a burden. May I ask what it's like to develop wisdom while in deeper meditation?
No need to be interested in that. The mind will do it on its own if it's able to. No need to struggle with it. What you are doing is correct and you're doing it well. The mind has samadhi, and quality samadhi is just like what you have now. There's no need for it to be any more intense. The mind is upright and relaxed and aware. You have good samadhi and the aggregates are able to separate. From here, just see that whatever arises also falls away. Watch in this way, and remember to do formal practice every day, so the mind can have momentum. If we practice mindfulness during our daily life, and that's all we do, then the mind won't have enough energy. Number 2, you practice well. Very, very good. Keep going. Number 3, your mind's rather busy.
Number 3, I have a busy mind.
That is very true.
When I think about practicing, I immediately start suppressing and make the practice difficult. My mind isn't natural. During formal practice I repeat Buddho and see the mind that moves. I see the mind and the defilements are distinct things. When doing walking meditation, I'm able to be aware of the body moving and sense the body and the mind being sad. May I ask for advice on how to continue on the path?
Your mind is too busy developing wisdom. The mind has to have samadhi sometimes. Therefore, practice some calmness mediation sometimes. Don't have to worrying about the wisdom. When the mind doesn't have any focus and is only busy, then everything will be just engaged in thinking. There won't be any true seeing. Or you might see something really quick, but then it's just thinking about it. You see a phenomenon arise, and then something will just be explaining and talking about it immediately. Can you see that? Number 3. So, as soon as something arises in the mind says, oh, this is that phenomenon, and this is that. Maybe I'll do this now, or maybe I'll do that now. It will speak to no end. That's the busy mind. So, do some calmness meditation practice. If there isn't enough calmness, then there won't be any developing of wisdom. That's good. Practice like that to gain some mental strength. Help the mind gain some order, and then develop wisdom later. Otherwise, all that will happen will be commentating. Sometimes, when commentating, there are 2 commentators arguing with each other. Number 4. Number 3. Go and practice some calmness, okay?
Number 4. I feel like my practice has gotten much easier to do. I see that the mind that strays is just the normal and natural workings of the mind. It makes it easier, which allows me to see phenomena released more often. I still feel like there's a home that I grab as myself and I try to interfere to make it good. Once I know that's what I'm doing, sometimes I'm able to release that and sometimes I get confused if I'm practicing correctly or not, but I do see phenomena regularly. Throughout the day, am I practicing correctly?
Your mind right now, is it a normal or natural mind? No, it's not. That's correct. If you're able to see that, then there's nothing to worry about. You haven't gotten lost in the wilderness. If you thought that the mind as it is now is normal, then you've lost your way. I'd have to follow you quite a while through the wild in order to find you. Just be aware. What you're doing now isn't awareness. What you're doing is pulling your mind together. Don't do that. Just use a normal mind. Know how the body is naturally. And use a natural mind to know what the mind naturally is like. Watch in that way. Right now, the mind is not natural. You're holding and locking the mind in a spot. Don't do that. But when you let go, the mind is going to be really busy, because you don't have enough energy. So, do formal practice. Choose a meditation object, and when the mind moves off, know so. When the mind strays, know so. Don't go for peace. The mind is peaceful, then who cares? The mind isn't peaceful, then who cares? Just be with an object and know your own mind. Then the mind will gain momentum as the stable observer. Right now, you're holding it together. But when you let go, the mind will be weak. It doesn't have enough strength. Everyone who comes to me and their mind is too weak, they start focusing too hard. So, practice more meditation, where the mind strays and you know so again and again. Don't force the mind to be calm. Don't force it to be still. We're not going for happiness. We're not going for peace. We're not going for goodness. We're going for awareness. See the body breathing and be aware. See the mind get lost in thought and then become aware of that. Number 5.
Number 5. I've been practicing meditation by watching the body breathe. When the mind is calm, I will see inside the body. There is movement. I observe the movement and the mind is happy doing that. It's bright and there is joy from time to time. The problem is that the mind isn't good at shifting to wisdom development, but I do understand the words. There is no control better than before. May I ask for your kindness?
Observe in this way and don't worry about wisdom. If there's isn't enough samadhi, then any so-called wisdom is just the mind busy thinking. Be aware. Make your mind more aware first. Once there's enough samadhi, we don't have to be concerned if there will be wisdom. Your mind is ready to develop wisdom as it is. The mind has rapture right now. Do you know that? Can you see that the rapture arose on its own? You didn't invite it. Can you sense that the rapture has decreased in intensity? Can you see that it is gone? All feelings are like this. So, whatever phenomenon arises, we can watch in this way. Just don't make the mind still. You're bringing the mind together to make it still. The mind that has samadhi is upright and peaceful, in such a way that we are not forcing it or intending it to be that way. When we're intending to do it, then there is pushing and pulling trying to force the mind. The mind is being used to work all day long under the power of desire. The mind has never had a rest. It's working all the time, so the mind doesn't have any strength. So, we need to meditate and do it without wanting or letting our desires guide us. No need to want the mind to be happy, calm, or good in any way. What you're doing now is not correct. Bringing the mind to a stillness. Don't do that. Bringing the mind to anything is using the mind for more work. You're giving it more work to do. It will never have strength if it never gets to rest. So, pick a meditation object and know the mind that strays, and then the mind will have a proper rest from all it's doing, and it will start to gain strength. Once there is samadhi, wisdom development will be easy. You have the habit of forcing the mind to be still. Make that something to observe in your practice. Practice meditation and get to know your own mind and what it does. Number 6. You've been waiting a long time.
Number 6. In my formal practice I do awareness of sitting and walking every day. I see anger and release from it often. This meditation has helped me to have mental strength more often. Sometimes, I can see the movement of anger arising and it disappears on its own. I see the body as not me, and the mind gets rather upset about that. I'm aware more often. I watch knowing and lost more often. Lately, the mind is more upright and has samadhi, but is it correct samadhi in the sense of characteristic examination?
Yes, it is. But when we have this characteristic examination samadhi, it doesn't remain that way. We still have to do object examination. We need the mind to be calm and content with an object at time. Doing only characteristic examination will run out of energy. And when we're out of energy, the mind just gets too busy. We'll think that we're practicing wisdom, but that's not true. It's just a busy mind. Number 3 and number 6, your faces are so similar. Oh, your siblings, okay. Number 7.
Number 7, in my formal practice, I observe the breath. There's some forcing and some knowing. During the day, I notice anger, and when there isn't anger, I know so in a timely fashion occasionally and sometimes not. Usually during the day, the mind is lost. How should I keep developing?
Keep practicing the way you are, but become more interested in taking care of your mind. When the mind has anger, know so. Anger can arise all day. Are you aware of that? You see this and you're displeased with it. You hear that and you don't like it. Anger arises very often. You think of this and you're displeased. So, When anger arises, don't try to stop it. When anger arises, just see it as it is. Soon you'll see that anger comes and anger goes. You'll see that all other phenomena come and go in the same way. At first, we can practice by just seeing one phenomenon, and then after that we'll see other ones too quite easily. Your practice is fine. Number 7. Keep practicing, but I want you to be more diligent. Okay, practice every day. Just don't practice and then stop. Practice and then stop. That's no good. Number 8.
Number 8. When I was a nun 2 years ago, you told me to observe the mind but not to abandon my meditation practice. You told me to have a main object, like a home, but not as a prison. I use Facebook and Line and I feel that they are boring and not amusing. I feel like my life has become flavorless and I don't get excited with anything in the world. I try to behave like stream enterers do in my daily life. I have strength in my practice of chastity even as a layperson, not a nun now. May I ask for some principles from you for which to practice?
Practice as you are, keeping the 5 precepts as a basis, and you can practice from there. Each day practice your meditation formally. You can do any sort of meditation. Just make sure to know your own mind when you do. Then samadhi will arise. Right now, your mind is not rooted in awareness. Can you see that? No need to pull the mind in to enter any state. That's not good. You'll just become uncomfortable. When the mind isn't coming back to awareness, then just know that it isn't coming back. If there's wanting it back, then know there is wanting. That's right, practice that way. Whether the mind enters awareness or not, that's its business. Observe in that way. But now, delusion is interfering. Can you sense that? The mind has gotten blurry. Just a little bit. There isn't enough mindfulness yet. So, practice some meditation, and if that blurry or low energy state arises, then become aware of it. Once you're able to become aware of it, you might want to take a deep breath to stimulate more awareness and more strength, and then keep practicing. Once the mind gets dull again, then take another strong, alert breath. Just breathe heavily 2 or 3 times. And then once the mind has some strength, just breathe normally again. Keep training and the mind will gain strength. Become upright and prominent. Number 8. You practice well. The only thing wrong is that when you practice your meditation, a haze comes over you. Add some alertness. When you practice meditation, don't go into dreamy states. When you sit, stay aware. Stick your tongue out for me to see. Whoa, your tongue is long. So, I was just teasing you to get you to laugh. So, can you notice the mind is locked? There's still something still inside, isn't there? There you go. That's your problem right there. Don't lock the mind in there. Let the mind be natural. No need to fix it. Just see that it's locked. And then if you want to fix it, know you're wanting. As soon as you know there is liking or disliking, or if you're pleased or not pleased, then the mind will be correctly in the middle immediately. That issue, that locked issue in there will vanish. Okay, that's all for today. Seems I've said that a few times already. There is a retreat for Chinese speakers going on right now. Therefore, there's an insufficient number of assistant teachers. For those of you who are in the meditation hall here looking for extra assistants, they're at the Chinese retreat. But let's not be upset with them. They surely aren't being lazy. Okay, time to go home.